During our exciting journey up the fabled Karakorum Highway to reach Pakistan's border with China, we passed through the beautiful Hunza Valley, which is surrounded by many high peaks that rise above 23,000 feet or 7,000 meters. During our stopover in Allahabad, we visited Adabad Lake to make the hike up the mountain path to see the beautiful blossoms of the apricot trees in Baskochi Meadows. The Hunza Valley is a spectacular mountain valley located in the region of Gilgit-Baltistan in northern Pakistan. The valley floor sits at an elevation of 8,000 feet or 2,500 meters, and it's surrounded by peaks of the Karakorum Mountains, some 13 of which rise above 23,000 feet or 7,000 meters. The Hunza Valley is dominated by Karakorum, which at 25,551 feet, or about 7,800 meters, is the 27th highest mountain in the world. It was first summited in 1958. Given its visibility throughout the valley, it is one of the most impressive mountains that I've seen. The Hunza people are known for their longevity, health, and vibrant culture. They live a simple, active life in the Hunza Valley, with a diet rich in apricots and a strong sense of community that contributes to their emotional and physical well-being. Given their general long lifespan, some Hunza individuals have lived well into their 120s. The Hunza Valley is popularly believed to be one of the inspirations for the mythical valley of Shangri-La in James Hilton's 1933 novel Lost Horizon. Old harvested trees are sent to sawmills for processing into boards. Some of these sawmills used equipment from the era of the British Raj. The 1100-year-old Alted Fort was originally home to the hereditary rulers of the Hunza state. It is the oldest monument in the Gilgit-Baltistan region. Its strategic significance was its location along the ancient Silk Road. The restored fort is dominated by a square tower which hosts an ibex statue. Ladyfinger Peak is a prominent 20,000-foot or 6,000-meter rock spire on Altarsar Mountain that provides a difficult and dangerous 2,000-foot or 600-meter rock climb. Ladyfinger Peak is particularly notable for being a sharp, relatively snowless rock spire amongst snow-covered peaks. This, combined with its height above the valley, makes it quite eye-catching, and it can be viewed from many different angles along the valley floor. The Karakorum Highway is built along one of the branches of the ancient Silk Road. Along the route there are more than 20,000 pieces of rock art. We pass by the sacred rocks of Hunza, which are one of the earliest sites of petroglyphs along the Silk Road, dating back to the first millennium AD. In the native language, the name of the rocks is Haldi Kish, meaning a place of many male ibex, which was the message to ancient Silk Road travelers that wild ibex were plentiful in the area. The Pak-China Friendship Tunnel No. 4 is one of 5 impressive tunnels built by teams from Pakistan and China due to a major landslide in 2010. In total, these tunnels are approximately 4.5 miles or 7 kilometers long. A large section of the Karakorum Highway was damaged by a huge landslide in 2010 that created Adabad Lake. A bypass for the highway was required since all vehicular traffic had to be loaded onto boats to traverse the new lake. The bypass required the construction of 5 so-called Pak-China Friendship Tunnels over a 36-month period. The landslide that blocked the Hunza Valley and created Adabad Lake resulted in 20 deaths. The newly created lake extended 19 miles or 30 kilometers and down to a depth of 400 feet or 120 meters. The lake has become a recreation area for tourists, and there are many resorts lining the banks along with boats to service visitors. The trailhead is at an elevation of about 7,500 feet or 2,300 meters, where a man sells tickets required to access the trail. The trail itself is entirely uphill, as it must surmount a high cliff atop which sits the meadow. It takes between 1 to 2 hours to reach the meadows at an elevation of 10,200 feet or 3,100 meters. The trail is a steep and rocky one that gains about 2,600 feet or 800 meters. It is very impressive to walk on the sections that have been hacked out from the rocky cliff face. At the top of the trail, there are spectacular views out over Atabad Lake, with the famous Pasu cones in the distance. The meadow hosts an apricot orchard. Fortunately, as it was springtime, the apricot trees were in full blossom, affording beautiful views with snow-covered mountains in the background. It takes approximately 2 months to move from the apricot blossom phase to mature fruit, with ripening occurring in late spring or early summer. A walk amongst the trees in bloom was particularly enjoyable and made the hike up to the meadows even more worthwhile. A hike up to Baskochi Meadows is well worthwhile when driving along the Karakorum Highway, especially in the springtime when the fruit trees are blossoming. Apart from the meadows, the Hunza Valley itself is a beautiful destination, given the impressive mountains of the Karakorum Range visible from the valley floor. If you enjoyed this film, please subscribe and like. There are many more similar films available on my channel.